saying winning the war, winning the war, winning the war, winning the war, winning the war. Like, we're matching Chicago political antics and fuckery.
Now that we have a strong mayor system at City Hall, has that made this work more challenging for you and the City Council? And has that decreased police oversight by the City Council?
One of the biggest battles for 2021 was around government restructure. It was a shift to take power away from the legislative branch and to consolidate it amongst the mayor, which we know the mayor or executive side is where the corporate establishment controls mostly. And also in terms of voter base is often the most whitest and affluent residents of our city vote and dictate the mayor. So this was a tactic to consolidate power of like, let's make the legislative branch, which in terms of proximity is the most democratic representation within government. That's where, you know, the 460,000 residents are closely, their needs can be manifested. It's not through the mayor, but let's disempower that and empower this centralized role and give it all the authority. And specifically, let's give this character of a mayor, Mayor Fry, the ability to execute, you know, just executive orders around anything. So we knew going in, at least for my office, that there was going to be an effort to stop or diminish the productivity of council. And as you mentioned, the oversight functions, because there's only 3 jobs we really have as council members. You do policy making, you do oversight, make sure your government has its checks and balances and isn't doing like corruption, and then budget. We hold the purse of the city. We decide where money should go and how money should be spent. Oversight has been the biggest fight, at least for my office, because under the prior administration, we're perpetually doing shicey shit. Minneapolis is always doing shicey shit. We're great at creating crises, even when there's not even the need for crises. And this administration has amped that up on steroids. And as a Chicagoan, that's very hard to say. Like, we're matching Chicago political antics and fuckery. So there has been a massive pressure campaign to stop council members like myself, those who are coming in and putting a spotlight on the ways in which, you know, City Hall wants to advance a hostile, exclusionary governmental response to working class people's needs, basically silencing them, sending the cops on them when they're saying we need clean air, exposing when they're undercutting, you know, our efforts to get investments into public transportation, and then like taking that money and go somewhere else. Like, we're constantly facing pushback inside of City Hall. A lot of that is somewhat directly through the mayor. The mayor will like do retaliatory shit, be like, I'll limit cops in your ward. He'll make threats to council members like that. It's just like, okay. Or make threats to roll back the delivery of services, like, you know, instruct his staff, like, if you need trash cleaned up, okay, well, let's see how you like it or how your constituents like it if trash don't get picked up for a couple of days. That retaliation comes through the council, because we know now we have 8 colleagues that are closely affiliated with the Fry administration or the Fry political machinery. So they're basically his spokespersons on council. So anytime we're bringing things around housing, around the Department of Public Safety, that was the first thing I brought as a substantial action, and the mayor emailed and worked with his council allies to block that. And funny enough, we just got a report back from our Harvard consultant that literally said the thing that I brought forward and that he instructed to kill February of 2022 after our police shot and killed Amir Locke was right. We should have been doing, so we could have been doing the very thing we paid $400,000 for the Harvard consultant to be like, yep, you need to do that going forward. We could have literally been doing that February 2022 instead of starting whatever the fuck the mayor wants to now. There is definitely the efforts to be like, don't allow council members things to be on the agenda, or really that's literally just block and stall. That has been the motto of this council. I call them a thoughts and prayers council, because they literally will look at like someone burning in front of you, like a resident burning, and they'll look and be like, and they can have a bucket of water next to them and be like, I wish there was something I can do. Does it hurt? I'm sorry. I'm sending you my prayers, and people are like, there's a fucking bucket of water. And they throw the bucket, and they're like, what? I don't know what you're asking me to do. That is literally the disposition of this council, the most useless. And how they weaponize staff. They're constantly using staff to come out and be spokespersons of the Fry administration's wishes, like especially around rent control. 70,000 people voted for rent control to say, council, move forward with this policy. And then a year and a half later, you have staff with a report that seems like it was written by like fifth graders come out and say, no, actually that's not a viable solution. What we're doing is working. So they're constantly weaponizing staff to like push back against council proposals. It's been a challenge to advance working class solutions under a hostile anti-working class political climate, but they got the right one. I'm glad my constituents recognize they got the right one, and I'm very proud of my colleagues. There's 5 of us who have continued to fight and continue to push, continue to cuss people out, and advance all these things in spite of all of that fuckery that happens.
Once they privatize all the schools, once everybody has a voucher to go wherever they want, do you think that's where it stops? No. The goal of these folks is not to have public schools at all. And if you can't afford to educate your child goes to work. School vouchers were dreamed up by people like Milton Friedman, who said that part out loud, who said that they would give a basic education to poor children. And the only people who get a good education are those who can pay for it. So you get a state voucher, and your local school closes because everybody's going to 10 different places, right? And then they raise the tuition over the price of your voucher. What happens to your kid? I know what would happen to mine. I can't afford it anymore. And that, friends, is the plan. I mean, that's the plan set out by the libertarians. That's what they want. No taxes, no schools.
What appears the soys are back in town, but Team America is back in full effect, and you know what that means. They will take shit from nobody from these soy boy bitches that try and act tough like freaking ninjas and then run like the soy boy bitches they are. Right here you can see soy boy getting real tough. It appears he's going to try and stand in the face here, and booyah, one to the chin. His neck snaps back like a freaking heathen Bez dispenser. Takes a kick to the dome while he's on the ground. Someone comes in with pepper spray out of the blue, and it appears this man is about to get attacked. Yep, that's right. The guy that sprayed everybody is going to get his ass handed to him, and it appears he's getting a knuckle sandwich buffet. Frail soy boy Kit Kat bones snapping and cracking like a freaking Slim Jim and Rice Krispies. And of course the same douchebags that protest law enforcement are asking help from law enforcement. How ironic.
I feel like anytime they remake something, they just are like, and you know what this needs? And you know what this needs? And you know what this needs? And you know what? Some gender queerty, some gender queerty, some gender queerty, some gender queerty, and just some more, just some more, just some more, just some more, just some more,
some gender queerty, some gender queerty, some gender queerty, some gender queerty. Wow, 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 wow. Huh. Sounds like a really good bar. Sounds like a really good bar. Sounds like a really good bar. Sounds like a really good bar.
Is this what anyone who plays this game wants? Is this what anyone who plays this game wants? Is this what anyone who plays this game wants? Is this what anyone?
People have already commented when they found out that the main character is going to be a single mom. That the main character is going to be a single mom. That the main character is going to be a single mom. That the main character is going to be a single mom. That the main character is going to be a single mom. They were like, oh boy. They were like, oh boy. They were like, oh boy.
Well, they needed more representation in video games. They've just been crying out for it for years.
Like, the woke bar is so ridiculous now. 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 The woke bar is so ridiculous. You know, it used to be like thing I don't like, thing I don't like, thing I don't like, thing I don't like I assume you don't actively hate single moms. I assume that's not like a huge problem for the far right. But like I guess that is too considered woke. Yeah, why have a single mother as a protagonist in a video game? They should be single moms and suffering. And trying to get all of our taxes in the form of welfare stamps. Come on, don't they live like queens? I'm often told.
I don't understand is why these companies do this.